expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. It's pushing the limits. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And we got some great guests lined up for you today. Leonard Cardinale is going to be joining us in studio here in just a few. The Trump administration, or at least I shouldn't say that, two unnamed sources are claiming that Officer Jonathan Ross suffered internal bleeding. Yeah, we're definitely going to, that's a load of garbage. I think it's the same doctor that claimed Donald Trump had bone spurs. We're going to talk a little bit about that coming up a little bit later on in the program. And I have a long laundry list, for lack of a better term, of the damage that ICE has done in just the last 7 days. Now, we have a very special guest to start. And anybody who knows me knows that I like a good laugh. And very happy that I became friends with this guy because I think he's very funny. He's very talented. And more importantly, he's a good dude. His name is Robbie Roadsteamer. So he's a guy that goes around and he sings songs and he makes people laugh and he pranks MAGA, and it's very funny. So he did this in Portland months ago, and they arrested him and they roughed him up for doing nothing wrong, not breaking the law. Now he's got a lawsuit against ICE in Portland. Well, guess what? That same guy, Robbie Roadsteamer, was in Minneapolis, Minnesota the other day when this happened.
I love partying with the frog. It's the new woke stock. All right, they're not ready for primetime players. You got your super soakers. You got your
love what he does when he goes around the country and pranks MAGA. That guy, Robbie Roadsteamer, is joining us right now on the program. Robbie, it is so good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. How you hanging in?
I'm pretty beaten up. You can see the pig pile, and one of the sons of bitches got a chicken wing in on me, and another one was kneeing me in the back, but they can't keep a crappy man down.
Robbie, I'm watching this video, so just kind of go through it with me and explain to me what exactly happened, because you're doing your thing. You're in your giraffe outfit, which I love, the famous giraffe outfit, and you're just singing songs and explain to people exactly where you are the moments before they tackled you and arrested you.
Well, it was getting pretty sexual out there. I was doing the Who's Baba O'Reilly, and I was like, out here in the Twin Cities, I fight for liberty, and a little bit of dry humping in the middle of the road. And that was the triggering point later on. One of the agents told me was the humping. And so I'm humping. Jolly Ginger halfway through, wonderful legendary vet out of the Virginia area. He shows up, and it is all out war. You can watch it on our YouTube. Like, we're throwing dance moves and middle fingers. And obviously, the mall cops over at ICE are losing control. We're just dancing in the streets. Nobody's even crossing the line, the federal property line. Then all of a sudden, wham, bam, 20 samurai not ready for primetime warriors come out from the ICE side, all in their samurai gear, and they take down a beautiful giraffe. I'm wearing a dirty pony onesie today because the giraffe outfit is it's pretty messed up, man. A lot of holes in it. I don't know what they were doing to the backside and stuff, but there's a hole near the 2 area, the number 2 area. And they were getting their pumps in, man. I'm telling you, man. So needless to say, even though half the protesters were throwing Oscar Mayer baloney at the car, and that does damage. Any high schooler knows you throw that on a paint job overnight, you're screwed. And They didn't arrest anybody else, man. And I was kind of shocked. It was like 20 to, 40 when you count the snipers on the roof, ICE agents detaining me. And I look around.
Go ahead.
And I look around and I start asking my two handlers, I'm like, where are the other protesters? You just arrested me. I had no baloney. I made no, because some of the guys were swinging their signs at the cars. I was a loving giraffe. And the sexy officer, DHS cop 667 Violet, oh my gosh, she's like, well, the dry humping in the middle of the street didn't help. And then 10 minutes later, when I get inside, she's like, did you have to dry hump like that? I'm like, you're really caught up on the dry humping, Violet. I mean,
she wanted to dry hump you, it sounds like.
I hope so. She was beautiful. She looked like a Kate Beckinsale DHS agent, strong, beautiful legs. And while I was handcuffed in the office.
It's a Marjorie Taylor Greene? Strong horse legs.
No, well, I mean, not like big and tanned like Marjorie. That's a horse, Marjorie. She could probably military press 1,200 on her back. I know she can at least carry me around the Marriott when we get ready. But no, this woman, it was more like she was like 5'2", tender fawn legs, like a deer, and it was very sexy. She was feeding me water while I was handcuffed. I was like, and, she's giving me the water, and then I said, hey, Violet, my nose is a little runny. Could you help over? And she did a napkin while I was cuffed.
That's very nice of her.
Yeah, I love her. Officer 667 DHS cops down in Minnesota. And everybody was yelling outside, free Robbie, free Robbie. Free
I heard that.
Unfortunately, just like Portland, half the ICE agents already knew who I was. And while I was walking in, there was 5 guys with camo going, oh, hey, Portland giraffe. I'm like, oh, got a couple of fans here. You want some autographs for your little tykes and stuff?
How long were you in handcuffs, Robbie?
I was in handcuffs for about 50 minutes.
Wow.
It sucked, dude, because my shoulder was hurting. They put me in a chicken wing. A couple of the cops. I mean, I have polycystic kidney disease, stage 4. My mom died of it. My grandmother died of it. It didn't help to get the knees in my back. I was hurting. But, after an hour, I was on good behavior, especially with Violet, man. I just want to serve her. I want to serve her so bad, man. I want to heal the party divide.
We have to connect you and Violet. We have to connect you two together. What did they cite you for? Like, what law did they say you broke?
Even lamer than last time, Bri. Last time, at least, it was feasible. It was obstructing, failure to comply with the shouting of a law enforcement officer. This time, it was blocking traffic. That is the citation. They little Violet, God bless her, beautiful soul, beautiful feet on her. And, she tried to get me on, well, we're going to get you on trespassing. I'm like, babe, you didn't get me across federal property. That's not going to hold. And then later on, it got changed to blocking traffic. When you can clearly see in the video, there's 20 ICE agents blocking traffic. There's another,
I don't understand that.
Frog. I mean, so that's what they got me on. Needless to say, after an hour, Violet tenderly took me out to the back and let me back into the woods. And I'm like, can we watch Yaya Sisterhood of the Notebook and perhaps have some Sambuca, and I can serve you like you serve me with the water?
And then I noticed a guy that's actually doing this show for the first time. I'm a big fan of his. The Jolly Ginger himself is going to be joining us on the show Friday. He was actually there, and he came to your aid, right? Tell me about that.
Oh, he came to my aid, seriously, like baby Jesus flying in with beautiful angel wings and talons. And him and a fellow veteran, Echo Romeo, they grabbed me right afterwards, right before the Minnesota ABC, NBC got to me. I wasn't ready to talk, and they're like, so what happened in there? I'm like, they went second knuckle on me. They used the hoses. They had one guy, they called him the Dirty Deeds. And he went up to me with jumper cables on the nipples. And then Jolly's like, he's a little exhausted. We got to get him out of here. They got me in the car, and they sheltered me from any more of the storm of ice. And
Yeah.
I have some really good veteran friends, and God bless, they are out there. They are making it happen. Meanwhile, we got 20 million Democrats on Facebook arguing, well, if you sign this online petition, I should disappear by 6 p.m. We are outraged here at the Elizabeth Warren Tea Party in Cambridge.
Yeah, don't even get me started there. So, all right. So let me ask you this. You have a civil lawsuit, I think, when it comes to Portland. Have you talked to your attorney? Can you share anything with us? Do you plan on filing another lawsuit after what happened to you in Minneapolis the other day?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, we got the GoFundMe, and I got to talk to my lawyer tomorrow. The last 2 days, I mean, it has just been insanity, recovering from my wounds. You know, I was trying to slide into Violet's DMs, and I'm like, put ointment on me. You know, let's heal the party divide. I want to serve you. And, you know, I'm just starting to recover. And, yeah, I mean, I already, you know, am aware of what's going to happen next with the process from Portland. My lawyer up there, Jesse Marathu, we're going to file it under a Torts Federal Act. And when you sue at the federal level, you have to inform them you are, and they have 6 months to respond. So it's a pretty slow time for 6 months, but we're going to do the exact same thing to Minnesota. We're going to grind the gears of ICE with litigation. And when I win, and I say when I win, we're going to have a huge block party in front of the ICE detention center, just like I guarantee we will in Portland. I'll get the permits, hot dog vending, balloon
I love
makers, fire spinners.
I'll do my show out there. I'll do my show out there. I'll do it. I'm in.
Oh, hell yeah. And also sexy Violet, man. I want to see her again. I can't get her out of my mind. She is just absolutely gorgeous, like a young, fertile, beautiful Natalie Portman.
So go give out, by the way, give out that GoFundMe. So people that are listening to the show, I know many of them are big fans of yours. Give out the GoFundMe, how people can raise money and help you out with whatever you're dealing with right now.
Oh, good call, Brian. It's GoFundMe.com/XYWZ. No, I mean, just go to GoFundMe and type in Ryan. Brian was like nodding, like, yeah, this is
I thought you were being serious.
Just go to GoFundMe and type in Road Steamer, Minnesota.
Gotcha.
And if you want to pay for my Portland lawyer, then it's Road Steamer Portland. But we're gonna get these guys. I got a real nice suit, and I'm gonna try to, you know, maybe get Violet into court as an expert witness. I mean, I'd love to see her, you know, just in a power suit, you know, something, man.
I have to find out who this Violet is now. I'm so curious. So, Robbie, I hate to always put you on the spot, Robbie, but I'm also a big fan of yours as well. I heard a rumor. Somebody had told me you had just done a new rendition of the very popular Prince song. I'm a big Prince fan, 1999. Is there any truth to that? And I don't know if your guitar is anywhere near you at this time. If it's not, then, you know, totally fine. But if it is, I don't know if you can give us like kind of a little bit of a rendition.
I don't know if I know it on the guitar yet. I don't want to waste any valuable studio time trying to figure out the chords, A minor and stuff. It's actually funny. I'm good friends with Apollonia from Purple Rain and stuff, and she was very worried, and she reached out this week. But I assured her that I'm okay. I'll be in L.A. this weekend, so I'll be able to talk to her face to face. But here's the song. Bun, bun, dun, 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 dun. I was a mall cop when I wrote this, so sue me if I don't refrain. Could have sworn it was Judgment Day. They say when Trump's out of the White House, all the ICE agents identified. Dun, 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 dun. So tonight we're gonna party like it's 1939. Ba, 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 ba.
I love it. I love it.
And then at that point, like the Portland Frog comes in, we had the Frog there, and he's gonna be like, "Life is like a party, and parties were meant to last." Why did Prince retain that dude? That dude he had a better singing voice than him, man. They should have kept him on the other albums. Like, she wore a raspberry beret. It was supposed to be on her head.
I love it. I can't wait to hear the entire song when you got the chords ready to go. I have to ask you, the giraffe has been through a lot. Okay, this outfit, not just you, but the outfit has been through a lot. When it's all said and done, and these civil lawsuits are over with, I mean, where are we gonna put these outfits? Are you gonna hang them up somewhere? Is it gonna be in like the, I don't know, the MAGA prankster Hall of Fame? Like what are we gonna do with these outfits?
I like to be in the Smithsonian. I don't feel like I need to be in a Ringling Brothers third rate, like protest, Hall of Fame. I want to get into the Smithsonian. We're on the third giraffe outfit now. Unfortunately, the second one was torn by the Minnesota ICE agents as I was on the ground. Very dirty, irreparable. First one covered with pepper balls from when the ICE agents in Portland sniped me from the roof. It's a disgrace, not able to be game ready. I have to wear this dirty-ass pony one today, and let me tell you, man, I don't know if this one's ready for show. It's like I wear it every day for like a month. I'm just sitting around here on my ass like John Popper, Blues Traveler, eating Cheetos, sucking down weed, editing these videos. So I got to hopefully get some money, raised for donations. And buy, the next one I would like custom made. I got to find someone around the Vegas area that does like the Circus du Soleil outfits, those two weird magician gay guys that worked with the Tigers, like Siegfried and Roy. We could get like the guys who designed those. And I'd like to get one with the giraffe.
They're dead. Yeah, they're both very dead though, so I don't think they'll be able to help you out anytime
They
soon.
both died?
Yeah, Siegfried and
Was
Roy
it
are both
by lions?
They're both well, one of them got it pretty bad by a lion and then died years later. But yeah, they're both very
The
dead.
other one got it by ice. Wouldn't it be weird? They got him. I mean, but like, I would like to get one of those Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels type of like real sequin giraffe onesies. And maybe when I go out to the next one in Minnesota, a little pyrotechnics. I want to come out like Erica Kirk, at a turning point. I just want to really be the showstopper, baby. And maybe actually have a finishing move I could put on maybe.
Here's what I want. Here's a suggestion. Here's what I would like. Now, I don't know where Jonathan Ross is. I guess he's in hiding somewhere. But if we could find out where Jonathan Ross is, maybe, you know what? That's good. He might be at Mar-a-Lago. I'd love you to be able to just sing songs 24/7 right outside his home. Since they like to call Tim Waltz retard outside of his house, the idiots like Nick Sorter, I think you should go outside of Jonathan Ross's home or Tom Homan's home and start singing some MAGA songs. That's what I think. Yeah, you should, and see how they like that.
Oh, yeah, no, hell yeah. If anybody out there in Radio Land and whatnot want to slide in my DMs and give me an address, I would love to sing some songs to Jonathan Ross, man. I got a whole plethora of new ones. It just, I'm on fire, man. And it's like, I'd love to get down there this weekend with a little Weezer in front of Jonathan Ross's and be like, when you're on an ice raid, you can't find the words to say. I'm gonna get a warrant for your arrest. You can't find those words, I guess, on an ice raid in Minnesota. We'll be playing, and so
that would be great. Just 24/7 Robbie Road Steamer all day long. So, Robbie, before I let you go, my co-host today is actually a huge fan of your work, and he wanted to say hello. He's also former law enforcement of 30 plus years. Leonard Cardinal is here, and you guys follow each other, I think. Leonard, say hello to my friend Robbie Road Steamer.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter as at not on my dime, and usually you like what I say, and I say, keep going, Robbie. And I think that was a BS arrest. I don't know. Standing in the street is a traffic violation. We don't tackle people for a traffic violation. They didn't warn you, and I think you have a good lawsuit. But you're funny, man.
They knew I was the head of the Hydra. They knew I had the best songs, the best outfit. They knew the ladies were, Lake Michigan in their pants over Robbie Road Steamer and stuff. And they had to take me down, I'm turning into like the Malcolm X, Talcum X, and they just want to take me down. And that's fine because you know what, man? I mean, every time they do it, I'm a Roman Catholic like JFK, Bobby Kennedy. I don't mind being a martyr, but I'm going to come back strong. I've been pumping into my body HGH this week, lifting weights, getting my
as long as the DHS females keep keep wiping your nose and feeding you and giving you water, they're going to be jealous. They're going to keep arresting you.
I love Violet. Officer 667 of the DHS
6'7".
cops in Minnesota. If anybody, actually, you know what, guys? It's really funny, but somebody else on Instagram, I have to send you the link. The same female cop, they have a video of her today. They actually accidentally shot the pepper spray into the wind and it went back on her face.
Ooh.
And there's just this video of her coughing her ass off today. And I feel bad. I got to send it. It's My Lady Cop. And I got to get into her DMs. If anybody out there knows Violet's DM, Officer 667, I asked him, is there an Officer 666? Who's that badass over there? And they're like, yeah, they're probably. I'm like, oh, that guy probably looks like Steven Seagal, hard to kill. Huh?
Well, as long as they keep crushing on you, they're going to be mad.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope she crushes on me, man. I would love to heal the party divide with Violet. Take her out to Panera Bread, maybe feed her like a mummy bird, like she
We're on the
fed-
Applebee's.
I'll
Like,
storm
I
the
don't-
Applebee's with you. Let me know.
Oh, I'd storm her Applebee's. I love her, man. I mean, she absolutely made detainment, the new second date, man. I mean, I loved it. And they couldn't even afford like the black mirror that they have, the one-sided mirror in the interrogation room. So it was hilarious. I kept seeing these like little mall cops looking through the blinds and stuff, and I would catch them like, I see you, and they would jump away and stuff. We had a lot of fun in there, man. I miss my detainment time.
Well, be safe, Robbie. That's number one.
We love what you do. Keep
Be
it up.
safe.
Keep going.
Take care of yourself. Keep up the great fight. And Robbie, we're going to stay in touch. Have fun in LA. I think you said you were going to be in LA this weekend, so please take care of
The
yourself.
whole gang's coming. Woke Farmer, Chelsea
Nice.
Gods from San Diego. We're just going to get together with the activists for a little bit in LA, sing some
Good.
songs. And then I got to get to Chicago Saturday at the Broadville, Illinois Detention Center. Everybody's going to be there. Jolly Ginger and the gang. And then we have a comedy show somewhere in Chicago that night. I just want to get through the first hurdles first before I get to that comedy show. We got a lot to get to, man.
You're traveling all over the place, Robbie. I'm happy for you. You have a lot of fans all over, and keep up the great work. Please be safe, Robbie. And
thanks again, Robbie.
I know we'll be catching up and we'll be partying and hanging out with each other real soon. Robbie, I appreciate you coming on. Stay safe, my friend.
Hell yeah. Remember to spade and neuter your ICE agents. Good night.
Good night. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Man,
I love
that's a
him.
funny guy.
I love him. Robbie Roadsteamer, everybody. He is the best. I love Robbie. And I'm glad that Robbie is doing okay. And I'm glad that he's not still behind bars. I'm also glad that he is, not extremely harmed.
I can't believe that they arrested him for impeding traffic. It's a traffic violation. That's a ticket at most.
Yeah.
They didn't warn him. You don't just run up to somebody
it's
and throw him
horrible.
on the ground. He's definitely getting under their skin. And he's doing important work, in my opinion.
It's absolutely horrible the way they're treating people. There's no question about it. All right, so I guess we have to take a break. So here's what we will do. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, I actually have some audio to play for you. I can't believe I'm going to be agreeing with Joe Rogan, but we'll play that for you next.
On this issue,
yep.
I do too.
I know, it's incredible. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. It's Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super hero, that is, because why be a
keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote, and that's what the Unfuck America Tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future, our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit back while the rich strip this country for parts. We need you to help us stay on the road to push back against the misinformation machine. Click the link in the description or head over to unfuckamericatour.com to donate, because nobody else is coming to fix this mess.
All right, welcome back. Pushing the limits on a very busy news day, Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. So as you all know, I've been one to make a few sports wagers from time to time, and we're right in the swing of things when it comes to the NFL season. And luckily, we're working with mybookie.ag, where you could use the promo code LIMITS. And if you lose a bet up to $500, you're going to get a free bet up to $500 in return. So you go to my Facebook page where you can see the actual link, and you go to mybookie.ag, you use the promo code LIMITS, and there you go. You get basically a $500 free bet if you lose a bet. So please check it out at mybookie.ag. And same wallet, sports, casino, reloads, live bets. They pretty much have everything. mybookie.ag. So as I mentioned, we have Leonard Cardinale in studio today. And, I wanted to go through a list, and I will after I get through the audio of the damage that ICE is doing to this country just in the last 7 days. And I'm going to read those off and kind of get your thoughts on it. Joe Rogan is a guy that I don't have a ton of respect for, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he's like this horrible guy. I don't think he's out to hurt people or anything, but I think he's kind of a meathead. I don't think he's the brightest bulb in the world.
He's kind of a leaf in the wind.
I've never, listen, he gets really good guests, right? And they do a lot of long-form interviews, and obviously he's extremely popular. He's got one of the biggest podcasts around, but rarely do I agree with him. But I will agree with him here because, there are a lot of people that are using terms like Gestapo regime and what ICE is doing. And I want you to listen right now to what Joe Rogan said about what's going on in this country when it comes to ICE, because I actually do agree with him. Have a listen to this.
You don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
Wow. I mean, that's when I heard him say that, I was like, good, Joe.
He's referring to the 1930s.
Yeah, well, he's right.
Where are your papers?
And until a couple days ago, as you know, I haven't used that language. And I am now. Because I think there are some comparisons.
I'm not afraid to talk about Hitler in the 1930s.
So I think there are some comparisons there to Mustache Man. And I also believe that if I've always thought that he was a wannabe dictator. He now is officially a dictator because he's, threatening military action on Greenland. And he's also, what happened in Venezuela, kidnapping the president, whatever you think about Maduro, that's what happened. And then stealing oil that does not belong to us. But what really put me over the edge, beyond all that stuff, which is very serious, don't get me wrong, is what's going on with these ICE agents around the country. So he is a dictator. And he is a fascist.
No probable cause, Brian. Nothing. Just throwing people in car. Sorry to interrupt you, but no probable cause. No reasonable suspicion. No consent, which you have to have one of those to stop people. Just throw them in the car. Do you have ID? Let me see your papers. And then they disappear, right? And we can't identify which agency. We can't identify which person, what badge number.
Yeah.
So, I'd say that's pretty close to Gestapo.
And there are people, when I use the term fascist, and by the way, Donald Trump used the word. Donald Trump used the word fascist in describing Kamala Harris when he was on the campaign trail multiple times. So I don't want to hear people, oh, Brian, don't use the term fascist. Oh, Brian, you can't do that. Yeah, well, Donald Trump used it too, you dopes. That's number one. Number two, refer back to Mussolini and his definition of what a fascist is. Go ahead and look at that literature, and that defines what I believe fascism is. And I can bring many of similarities to what Donald Trump is doing to that definition of it, defining it, and again, refer back to Mussolini if you don't know what I'm talking about.
And it's taking care of your friends, and it's getting all the power, and it's telling the people that you're the only one that can fix the problem. However, you have to take the restraints off my power. Right. That's what it is.
So Joe Rogan is right. I agree. I don't always agree with Joe Rogan, but I'm glad that maybe at least when it comes to this specific situation, I do agree with him on it 150%. So. The DHS spokesperson, who is probably the dumbest bimbo I've ever heard speak, she's even worse than Caroline Leavitt, on Fox News, they're asking her about Joe Rogan's comments, and they play the comments and then listen to her response.
Here. Joe Rogan, he's got questions about what's happening, and it's probably echoing what many people are thinking, so let's listen to him and get your reaction.
I see the perspective of the people that say, hey, there was an illegal program moving people in here to get votes, moving people in here to get congressional seats, and we've got to change that. I can also see the point of view of the people that say, yeah, but you don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
So I know you and I talk a lot about communications and PR, and how would the department respond to that concern that he raised?
Well, this answer is very straightforward. If Tim Walz, if Mayor Fry would let us in their jails, we wouldn't have to be there at all. Currently, there are 680 criminal illegal aliens. Dana, that includes murderers, that includes rapists, child pedophiles, people who, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you would never want these people to be on your streets or your neighbors. That's the people who we are targeting, and we are trying to get out of Minneapolis. Because we don't have state and local law enforcement's help, we do have to have a physical presence on the ground there. And I know in the interview as well, and what Joe Rogan just mentioned is the rampant crime we found, more than $9 billion, and we believe that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, let me just quickly correct Tricia McLaughlin, who is lying. First of all, the majority of the people that they are rounding up, I'm talking about ICE agents now, have never been convicted or charged with a crime in their life. Some of these people might be undocumented, but they wouldn't be in jail. So when she says, I wish Tim Walz and Mayor Fry would let us into their jails, most of the people that they're rounding up aren't in jails to begin with. Was Robbie Roadsteamer in jail already? No, of course not. So most of these people that they're rounding up, these ICE agents, when they go door to door, wherever they are, when they go in shopping malls, these are people that are not in jail and wouldn't be in jail because they haven't done anything wrong. So it's an absolute lie what Tricia McLaughlin is saying.
Every city has 680 people in custody for violent crimes. Every city has people that you could point to that have committed heinous crimes that are walking around in the street. So what they're trying to do is cherry pick, and it's embarrassing. It really is. It's embarrassing. She lied about so many things in that comment. It's not even funny.
By the way, in every single poll that I've seen, not just CNN, Fox News, and other polls are suggesting in these polls that the overwhelming majority of people believe that Officer Jonathan Ross did not act appropriately. And now, so here's the DHS spokesperson again lying, saying that she believes, like we care what she believes, that the majority of the American people have concluded that this individual in question weaponized her vehicle. Listen to this.
And I do believe the American people are largely concluding that the individual in question, she weaponized her vehicle. She would not comply with law enforcement operations. She had been stalking them all day long. And unfortunately, this was an act of self-defense. And if you don't comply with law enforcement officers, if you use a deadly weapon against them, there are dangerous, and in this case, deadly consequences.
So there is absolutely and positively no real evidence to conclude that this woman who was brutally murdered used her vehicle as a deadly weapon. There are a lot of...
Got to have intent.
There is a lot of evidence to prove that. Also, why was he holding up his cell phone the entire time using one of his hands? Why was he going around the vehicle from back to front?
It's officer safety issue, by the way.
Of course. And the idea, now that they're saying that he was somehow bleeding, and they have... CBS is a joke, by the way. They have two unnamed people within the administration somewhere, two unnamed people that are claiming that he was bleeding on the inside. First of all, let me just correct the record right there, because I actually spoke to a friend of mine today who happens to be a surgeon and knows a little bit about
And
internal
everybody
bleeding.
watches football, so
And
you know that's not true.
So yeah, so the person that I was talking to, and I wrote this down because I wanted to correct the record here. Internal bleeding, most of the time, is considered a very serious and potential life-threatening emergency. And it requires evaluation, stabilization, often ongoing monitoring, treatment in a hospital. And internal bleeding can also be called a hemorrhage. And it occurs when blood escapes from blood vessels inside the body. Could be the abdomen, it could be the brain, the chest, any of those
You could
places.
die from that.
Yeah. It can result from trauma like a car accident or a fall. And this could lead to shock, organ damage. It's very serious. At a minimum, we've heard rumblings from the administration that he was released in the afternoon. So we know that that's a lie. He was not internally bleeding. They have not released the hospital he's at. And I would say if they claim that he was struck by the vehicle, I believe it grazed his arm at best. He also held on to his cell phone the entire event. If you're struck by a vehicle and you're injured, are you going to hold on to your cell phone? Then got up and was walking very casually back to his unmarked vehicle. So no, this is a lie. And if people want to say, Brian, you don't know what you're talking about, okay, no problem. If he was struck by the vehicle and he was injured, let's see pictures. Let's see the medical
there's
records.
not going to be any investigation.
The doctor who's saying that he had, if there is a doctor out there that's saying that he was bleeding from the inside, is probably the same doctor that said Donald Trump had bone spurs. It's probably, those types of doctors. So this is nonsense. It's a lie, and prove me wrong, as Charlie Kirk would say.
Can I go a couple stats real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So MSNBC has reported that 56% of Americans believe that the force that was used was inappropriate, and only about 31% agree with it. Same thing with ICE. The ICE occupation, about 58% of Americans do not want ICE occupying cities, and about 32% say it's okay. So what I wanted to say, the point I want to make, Brian, real quick, is that same 30, 31, 32%, that's the MAGAs. That's all his supporters. They're never going to go away. So the overwhelming majority, by the way, 70% of Americans do not want ICE going around and deporting people using force on them. So when they say most Americans want that, I don't think most Americans want anything that Trump's doing right now. Nothing.
I think most don't. I certainly agree with you.
Thank
So let's turn to Mike Johnson, Little Mikey.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Little Mikey,
Cranky Mike.
another fake Christian. I feel like there's so many fake Christians
Pouty Mike Johnson.
in the Trump administration. So of course Mike Johnson was asked about this morning, and of course he has the worst wussy type answer that you can possibly give, talking about how ICE needs to do their job. Leave them alone.
To get to on ICE, that's the story out of Minnesota. We've been covering it 24/7, as everybody else has, in print and here on cable. Democrats wanted to fund ICE. Can they do that?
No, they can't, because Republicans control Congress. This is no time to be playing games with national security and public safety, and that's what Democrats are doing, beating the drums up here. Remember what ICE stands for. It's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They are enforcing the law. They are apprehending the dangerous criminals who were allowed into our country because Joe Biden kept the border wide open for 4 years. An estimated more than 20 million people came in. Many of them are a great danger to our community. A lot of them have collected in cities like Minneapolis. These sanctuary cities, they're all there, and so ICE has to go and do its job. There's a lot of spin on the Democrat side. They're assaulting our law enforcement officers, and they're breaking the law. They need to get out of the way and allow federal law enforcement to do its duty. That serves all the American people.
Okay, so first of all, let me just correct the record. He says that this is no time to, quote, be playing games, yet Donald Trump and Kristi Noem has said these ICE officers need 47 hours of training because Donald Trump is the 47th president. And this despicable buffoon is saying this is no time to be playing games. The gall of Mike Johnson to make a statement like that.
And not to interrupt you, but they didn't say defund ICE. That's not what they said. What happened was Democrats said on the 30th of January, we have to talk about funding the government. We have to talk about paying the bills, and they're going to use that to get some leverage. They're going to say, you need to take all this money out. We need to not defund ICE. But yes, they are prepared. The Democrats are prepared to stop funding ICE because unless, and they didn't say we're just going to stop the ICE program. They said we have a list of rules, a list of guidelines, a list of use of force. and laws they have to follow. That's all they're asking for.
Yeah.
They're not saying defund. I mean, maybe some did, but that's not really what they're saying.
No, it's not. And
so Mike's not accurate again.
And then we go to another despicable human being, the guy who allegedly, took $50,000 in a duffel bag bribe, Tom Homan, who has absolutely
and he
zero,
never answered the question. He just says, "I didn't break the law."
The guy who has absolutely zero credibility, and Tom Homan, who does an interview and is asked, there's a lot of people out there that believe what you guys are doing are excessive use of force and blah, 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 blah. Listen to what Tim Homan has to say to that.
When it comes to Minneapolis, we're seeing images like yesterday of a woman who was stopped by federal agents. She was dragged out of her car. I know DHS always has a response to this as to why they're acting that way. There are Americans who see this and say this looks like Putin's Russia. What is your
That's ridiculous. You know what? In Minneapolis, let's remember who set the stage here. First of all, the Biden administration let millions of people release millions of illegal aliens in this country in violation of the law. Many of them criminals because they weren't properly vetted. We're arresting thousands of them. So first of all, they created the problem with millions of illegal alien criminals in this country. Second of all, Minneapolis, we're a sanctuary city. If they let us in their damn jail and stop being a sanctuary city, we could arrest the bad guy in the safety and security of the jail. But because they knowingly release them, now we got to go in the community and find them. Then they're mad we're in the community. President Trump made us promise to American people, we're going to find these criminals and make America safe again. So if they don't let us in the jail, we're going to go in the community. The difference is, in places that's not a sanctuary, one agent can walk into a jail and arrest one criminal illegal alien. But when you release them in the community, now we got to send the whole team because we got to arrest somebody on their turf. They have access, who knows what weapons. It makes it dangerous for the officer, makes it dangerous for the alien, certainly makes it dangerous for the community. So if Minneapolis wants to help, like I saw Mayor Frey doing an interview this morning, let us in your damn jail. What's the downside of letting a federal law enforcement officer with immigration authority talk to an illegal alien that you already locked up and put in a jail cell? It's ridiculous that they're pushing back on that.
Okay, so there again goes the lie being put forth by those in the Trump administration like Tom Homan and the DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. If they just let us in their jails, let me repeat once again so you MAGA buffoons can understand. The overwhelming majority of people that ICE are arresting and kidnapping are people that would not be in jail because they haven't committed any violent crimes. In fact, some of the people they're gathering. In fact, some of the people that they're gathering up are actual American citizens, people like Robbie Roadsteamer. So the idea and the lie and the excuse that, well, if the Democrats just let us in their jails, is a blatant lie. There's a small percentage of people where that might be true, but again, the overwhelming.
But she was asking about ripping a woman out of the car.
Right,
that was the question.
And that's not a
woman.
woman.
You agree with being able to just tear a woman in America out of the car?
And that's not a woman that would be behind
and
bars
he
to
went into
begin
millions
with.
of aliens. And what is it? Where did he?
And here's where the truth finally comes out a little bit, because the overwhelming majority of these people, undocumented immigrants. I don't like to use the term illegal aliens. I don't like that term. The overwhelming majority of these people have no criminal history at all, and Tom Homan is forced to admit that.
They need to know. We're going to keep doing this job because we're arresting the worst of the worst. And are we arresting illegal aliens with no criminal history? We absolutely are. If we find them looking for these targets, they're going to be arrested. If the mayor
because
and the
they are here illegally.
If they want less of us in the street, then let us in the damn jail where we can arrest a public safety threat in the safety and security of the jail. You release them in the street, that forces us into the street to do this.
Listen to this
safety threat in the jail. I don't get it.
Listen to this guy talk. First of all, like the guy can't even talk. He's so stupid. If the Democrat, that's the way he sounds when he talks. He sounds gross.
Hey Tom, you're going to take care of the safety threat in the jail. Does that make sense, Brian? Does that even sound?
No, it doesn't.
We need to get in there to take care of the safety threat in the jail. They're in
doesn't-
jail.
It doesn't make any sense at all. And just listening to Tom Homan talk, he looks as he sounds, and it's just despicable. So I want to provide you some details with the damage that ICE has done just in the last 7 days. Now, we know what they did to Renee Good, at least in my estimation. That was murder. They shot a U.S. citizen in the eye. They shoved his face in glass and then laughed at him. There's video of this. He's going to permanently lose sight in one of his eyes. This happened 4 days ago. They tear gassed a high school at dismissal time while arresting some staff members in Minneapolis. They illegally kneeled on the neck of a legal observer while arresting him for no reason. They threw a special education school teacher, I believe this was the incident that you were referring to, and they smashed into her car and grabbed her. They shattered the windows of a disabled woman's car and arrested her for trying to get to her doctor appointment. They fired explosive flashbang grenades at protesters. They brutalized a homeless citizen so badly he needed to be hospitalized because he couldn't breathe. They pepper sprayed a protester in the face at point-blank range. I think we've seen all that. It's very dangerous. They dragged a U.S. citizen teenager out of his job at Target. They beat him. We've seen the video of this. I saw it. Then dropped him off several miles away after they realized he was actually a legal citizen. They arrested a U.S. citizen for refusing to show them his papers in violation of his Fourth Amendment rights, meaning you can't just go up to any random person with no reasonable or articulable suspicion and ask them to show their paperwork. That is against his rights, but they did it anyway. They pointed a weapon in a priest's face and then threw him in the back of their van for absolutely no reason at all. They targeted two protesters, smashed their car doors, and illegally arrested them. That's also on tape. They trampled the memorial of Renee Good. That's right. There is an ICE officer, for no reason at all, this is on video, who trampled the memorial of Renee Good. They broke into a woman's bathroom to arrest legal workers. They illegally conducted house raids in Minneapolis with fake warrants, handcuffing a minor and arresting her parents for speaking Spanish. This is just in the last 7 days. Where are we going to be in another 7 days? Where are we going to be in a month? Where are we going to be in 6 months? This stuff needs to stop. It is out of control. It is despicable. We're seeing it every single day. And the only people that are defending this are people that are either in Donald Trump's administration or the same people who defended Donald Trump when he called the January 6th insurrectionists hostages and patriots. The same people who say that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. The same people that say Derek Chauvin should be pardoned. These are some of the worst people that America has to offer. And if you are defending this kind of behavior, I'm specifically now talking about ICE and the stuff that I have mentioned and listed, which is all documented on video, then you are one of those deplorables that Hillary Clinton called a very, very long time ago. And she was right. This needs to stop. Leonard, you have been in this business in law enforcement for decades. I'm wondering how it makes you feel when I read a list of things that ICE have done, despicable things, in just the last 7 days. You're someone who's dedicated your life to law enforcement. When I read that stuff off, what are you thinking?
I think they're untrained. I think that they're unprofessional, and I think that's the way the administration wants it. None of us, Brian, I mean, over the years, 25 years, yes, some police officers made mistakes. Sometimes it was a formal investigation. Sometimes they got fired here and there. They did stupid things, but there was no culture and there was no conduct that even comes close to anything. We could not throw people in the car. We could not refuse to identify ourselves. We could not stand in front of vehicles and put ourselves in danger, so we had to use deadly force. We could not just walk up to people. It either had to be consensual, it had to be reasonable suspicion that they committed a crime or were about to commit a crime, or it had to have probable cause, which is, arrest. If you have probable cause, you can arrest. If you don't have that, or you try to get consent, but one thing you can't do is you can't come up to people and just block them in and go, show me your ID, show me your papers. Like we talked about the other day, traffic stops, inherently dangerous. They can ask you to step out. But you go up to a car and you go, hi, my name's Lieutenant Cardinelli. I stopped you for speeding. I need to see your driver's license, registration, insurance, any reason why you're driving that fast. Maybe they have a pregnant wife. Maybe there's an emergency that you need to take into consideration. But no one walks up to a car and pulls on the door and goes, get out, get the F out. And then after this guy, Jonathan Ross uses force, he can be heard on video. He said effing bitch after that, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so what does that say about his state of mind, his mens rea? Why did his mens rea is a Latin term for
and by the way,
state of mind.
Speaking of state of mind, Renee Good, just seconds earlier before she was gunned down, she had said, "I'm not mad at you." And she seemed very calm.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah, she seemed very calm.
I think the girlfriend got under his skin, and he pulled out his
because now they're trying to go after Bill Clinton with some Epstein pictures. I will be playing that a little bit later on in hour number 2, but I do want to give people the opportunity to call in now because I want to focus on ICE.
Supposedly they've been waiting.
And I want to focus on 2 unnamed sources, according to CBS. CBS is a joke. 2 unnamed sources that are claiming, because this is exactly what the Trump administration wants, claiming that Officer Ross was bleeding internally. Again, we have no evidence to prove that.
Brian, let me just say, I watch football every week. Probably you do. And those guys run at each other at top speed and crash into each other, and they have some equipment. What about rugby? No equipment. There's no, I mean, for internal bleeding, you'd have to steamroll someone who wasn't even paying attention.
It's a lie. It is a bald-faced lie that Officer Jonathan Ross was bleeding internally. I gave you the medical reasons as to how or why you could be bleeding internally. They are lying to you. I don't know who these unnamed sources are. Prove it. Show us the pictures. Show us the medical
records. Do an investigation.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why we want
an investigation. Let us know.
An independent investigation will not be happening here, but I obviously agree with you. The number to call to be a part of the show right now is 702-221-7283. Listen, this is your opportunity to have a debate with me as well. And Leonard, if you disagree with us, and somehow you think for whatever reason that, yes, he was struck
lots of people in the live chat said they're going to call in. They've been saying it all morning, so let's see.
They always do that. But somehow you're making the case, he was struck with the vehicle and he has internal bleeding. Okay, well, let's hear why you think Officer Jonathan Ross was justified in this horrific, tragic event where a 37-year-old, in my estimation, innocent woman
he should have
has
been
lost her
incapacitated.
life.
It should have incapacitated him, Brian, if he was hit hard enough for internal bleeding. You know what I'm saying? He would have hit the ground. He would have been in tremendous pain and not able to just walk down there and then take a peek, walk back, call 911.
Well, listen, I'm sticking with my opinion on what I believe happened here. I believe this was absolutely 100%. I would say 150% murder. The phone lines are full right now. 702-221-7283. Why don't we start off with Scott? Scott is first up on PTL. Hello, Scott.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Scott?
Mr. Cardinale, how are you? It's your favorite negative person.
Oh, it's this Scott. Yeah, but you know what, Scott? You started out negative, but I noticed that you're changing a little bit.
I'm kidding.
Brian's show has made you more positive.
Yeah, I try. I remember last year when they were going to pass a bill to actually fix the border, and they didn't actually fix it. So these idiots think that the illegal immigration is fixed. It isn't. People just don't want to come here right now because Trump's an idiot. Yeah. I was also thinking about we have a weapon of mass destruction right here in America. It's called Donald Trump's diapers and his stinky smell. But anyway,
Scott, let me ask you a question while I have you on. Can I ask him a question?
Yeah,
real quick. So I know that they shut down the border, but they basically did away with the amnesty program, and the refugee count is way down. Do you think it's okay as America, as the shining city on the hill, to shut down the amnesty program and to make it so that even refugees can't come here and don't even want to come here anymore? Because that's what really happened. Trump takes credit for shutting it down, but nobody's talking about the results and how they actually shut it down.
Right. So I think you're slightly wrong. They shut it down for everybody but white immigrants. White immigrants can still come here from South Africa or wherever the hell they come from. But they shut it down for colored immigrants. But no, I don't think that's right. But again, that's what I think America is. I mean, I don't want to start to get negative on you. But
No, you're not getting negative. I completely.
No, that's a good point,
I think
Scott.
it's a great point. 702-221-7283. 702-221-SAVE. The people on social media that disagree with me, but unfortunately some of them are too cowardly to call in. Let's go to Cheryl. Cheryl's next on PTL. What's
Maybe
up,
they're
Cheryl?
scared.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Leonard.
Hi,
How are you
Cheryl.
guys doing today?
Good. What's on your mind, Cheryl?
Well, first and foremost, I agree with you. He was not justified in shooting Renee. But I don't know if you guys have you seen the videos that are going around with whoever they pulled off the streets that are wearing the Eero vests?
Yeah, I did see that. Yep. I did.
So, Leonard, my question is this. Is that something new?
That's something made up. You're talking about on the back of his jacket where it says emergency response officer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is?
no,
That's the equivalent of a bail enforcement officer that used to go around and round people up for the bail agent, and it doesn't exist. It's something that's made up. There's no such thing as a bail enforcement agent. It's a security guard, basically. And I can tell you right now, so listen to this. I had in the academy, when I was a police officer, 880 hours of basic training in the police academy. And then I had to ride with a senior officer for 4 to 6 weeks, and I was graded every single day on probable cause, knowledge, on my use of force, my officer safety. And so that amounts to a couple of thousand hours over almost a year. And these people are getting 47 hours. I think that it's clearly something that's lacking in proper tracking.
Thank you for the call, my dear. I appreciate you. Again, the number to call is 702-221-SAVE. We're talking about officer, ICE officer. If he was an author, he would write a book on how to murder somebody and possibly get away with it. Yeah. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to somebody by the name of Fish Taco. I do like fish tacos. Hello, Fish Taco.
Hey, Brian and Leonard, hello. I just want to pop up a couple of quick points, really quick.
Yeah.
And this is for both, okay? First of all, like really quickly, Joe Rogan is a flaming moron. That guy is so stupid. If you would have heard the entire clip, I don't know if you did, Brian, but he called Renee an effing he called her effing crazy. She was acting crazy, effing crazy. That's what he said about her.
Yeah, obviously I disagree with.
Yeah, and he said some other stupid things in that same exact clip. But I want to go over just really quickly. In my opinion, I tried to get it into the mind of the killer, right? Of the ICE killer, and I think when he was in the front before he let go of the first shot, she had already turned the wheel. When he saw her turn the wheel, his mind clicked and said, "I got the kill shot now. I got her now." Like, in other words, and that's why he moved over and shot her. That's just my opinion. That's what I think happened. The second thing, and this is for Leonard. What does it mean when an officer pops off 3 shots in quick succession like that? I mean, those shots went off very quickly.
Well, let me tell you, Fish
right?
Taco, just quickly, because I know we have a lot of callers and I don't want to belabor the point, but every round a police officer fires or any law enforcement, they're responsible for every single round. You can't say it was succession or that it was a knee-jerk reaction. Every time you use force, every time you bend an arm, you strike someone, you're responsible for, and you're supposed to assess. So as you engage, you draw your weapon, maybe you fire, you're supposed to assess. And let me ask you something. If they were next to the vehicle at a 90-degree angle and the woman is driving away to the right, are they in any danger? They're still firing shots. Number 2 and number 3, he was standing on the side of the vehicle. And if you look at the still pictures, the third shot, the vehicle was kind of angling away from him. So are those shots justified?
Of course not.
You're responsible for every shot.
Yeah, of course it's not justified.
Really quick. I'm sorry. Hey, Leonard, what did you notice the officer that went up and tried to open the door? As soon as that first shot went up, that guy split the other way, man. He went like, whoa, this guy is insane. He just popped off a round, 3 rounds right near my head, like at least a foot away from him.
Because he was in no danger. So that the
Right,
shock came as a surprise because he was in no danger.
Yeah.
If all of them
Right,
felt
but
like they were in danger, he wouldn't have jumped. He wouldn't have ran away.
702-221.
absolutely.
702-221-7283 is the number to call.
Sorry,
if you
we
wanna-
got to move on.
If you want to be a part of the conversation. Okay, let's go. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Alexa. Alexa is next up on PTL. Hey, Alexa, what's up?
Hey,
Hi,
Hi,
Alexa.
Alexa.
how are you today?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Right, I want to ask you, do you think any of these people will see their money? I mean, from the ICE, from like Renee or
Eventually.
even Robbie?
There's probably not going to be any criminal charges, but I think there certainly could be civil, and that certainly wouldn't surprise me. I think it's an interesting question because I haven't talked about this, but I do think there's a good chance that this officer could be found civilly liable. I think that is very plausible. It could be O.J. Simpson all over again. Obviously,
It's gonna
different
take a while.
circumstances, but yeah, I think so. Yes, to answer your question, yes, I think that's very plausible that could happen. I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits out there, and guess what the worst part about this is? Guess who has to pay for it?
Us.
American taxpayers.
Yeah, the
It's sick.
taxpayers, yeah.
Take the money out of the $50,000 bag that Tom Homan allegedly stole. Take the money out of the $1 billion that Donald Trump has enriched him and his family with this crypto scandal. I guarantee you, if you took all that money out of Donald Trump's pocketbook, then I guarantee you he wouldn't be sending all these ICE agents out
That's
there across
exactly
the
right.
country.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, thank you for the call, my dear. I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's go to Rachel. Rachel is next up on PTL. 702-221-7283. What's up, Rachel?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
I have had the most horrifying thought. I know that there's a market.
Donald Trump with his shirt off.
Oh, my God, please don't. Anyway, there's a market for snuff films. Do you think that policeman was recording that and selling it?
No, I think the reason why the policeman, it's a good question, but I think the reason why the policeman was using his cell phone was for intimidation. It's why he walked around the vehicle. He was trying to intimidate her in doing so. So I think that's the reasoning behind it. That's just my opinion. I don't know if
I don't think he can post that kind of content
No, he
now.
can't.
But someday, when the case closes, he could possibly post that.
Yeah.
When the
I'm
case
on
is
the
closed.
dark web.
Well,
there
yeah,
must be money there.
but I think the reason why he did it was for intimidation. I don't think that's what I believe. That's what his intent was.
Okay, you
Yeah.
think more of him than I do.
Well, no, I don't. I think he's an absolute piece of garbage, and I hope he rots in jail.
Well, he wanted
but,
to escalate the situation.
Yeah.
If that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to escalate the situation with intimidation. Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for the for the
Okay,
question.
thank
It's a
you.
good question. Again, we have the keyboard warriors that are claiming that we are wrong about everything. All the keyboard warriors out there.
How about if I promised, not you, because I promised to be nice.
Yeah, I
How about
can't-
if we do that? I'll be nice.
I can't be nice to stupid people.
I'll be
I just can't.
patient and I'll be.
Yeah, I can't promise that.
Yeah, but
You
know,
can,
stupid
because you're
is
a nice guy. I
Stupid
can't
is as
do it.
stupid does.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
That's true. Forrest Gump, if you want to call in, please call in. 702-221-7283
They're too scared.
is the number to call. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Jason. Jason is next up on PTL. Hi, Jason.
My man, Jason.
Hey, Brian, I was thinking, we look back when the Project 2025, they said we got a bunch of people ready to fill in these federal jobs. You ever thought of, especially with Stephen Miller, that wannabe mustache, dying to try to be like him? You ever think maybe all these people that are getting hired for $50,000 or 47 hours training might be white Christian nationalists? And I find out I guarantee if somebody
Most
goes
or all of them.
undercover.
I think that's possible. I want you to think about this, though. $1,000 they're getting paid per hour of training. That's really what's going on here.
Yeah, but think about this, though. What is the only human being in America that's always angry? It's those white nationalists. They're mad. They don't have they feel that
And they claim they're
it's not
Christians also.
Yeah, but they got to remember this. They're always mad because the country's not the way they want it. They're mad that women are not picking them out. They're always angry. So just think about it. Why do you think that man was so angry that woman could? He had no reason to be that angry. But because he's a white nationalist, he probably was so angry that he said, "Oh, you should be having white babies." Boom, shot in the face. That's just my theory.
I don't think that's the wrong theory.
I agree, Jason. And something needs to be done because they are spreading quickly. There's a good chance people have said that maybe all these people are hiring the Oath Keepers, the people that were pardoned by Trump. what they call the something boys, the Proud
Proud
Boys.
Boys,
It could be a lot of those, and that may be why they're covering their faces, so we can't identify them, so we don't know who they actually are.
Yeah, that's what's unfortunate. Jason, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much. Again, just kind of resetting the scene here. The latest from the White House is, or at least I should say the latest from CBS, 2 unnamed sources are claiming that Officer Jonathan Ross had internal bleeding, yet they haven't provided any other information. We don't know who these people are. We have no record of him being at the hospital. They haven't shown any pictures because they are lying. I'm going to say this right now on the air. They are lying. Officer Jonathan Ross, ICE officer Jonathan Ross, rent-a-cop, had no internal bleeding. It is a lie. In fact, they've interviewed some of Ross's neighbors, and one neighbor is on the record as saying while they claimed he was in the hospital, he was at his home and there were people helping him move some boxes as they were getting out of there. So that is a complete and utter lie. There was no internal bleeding. What this is the case of is somebody that gets into a fender bender, completely unharmed and uninjured, calls an attorney, and some attorneys will say, go to the hospital, tell them you have a headache, tell them you have whiplash. That is exactly what is going on here. If, in fact, he did go to a hospital or wherever, there were no actual real injuries, and it is a lie. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Paul calling all the way from the UK. Paul, what's going on?
Hi, Brian. Hi there, Leonard.
Hey, UK, Paul.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Thank you. So just talking about this, obviously, this terrible thing that happened, this shooting. We've all got opinions on it. And, of course, the MAGA will always come up with a counter-argument, no matter how absurd. The real issue here, and the real thing that everybody should be shouting when one of these excuses is spoken from a platform is, we want a proper independent investigation.
Right.
That's a thing at the very minimum that's deserved when somebody gets killed, shot 3 times in the face. That's the minimum, isn't it? Proper investigation.
Well, the minimum a
And if
police
they claim
department
we've
would investigate it and say that we found no wrongdoing, but you have to investigate it. Even if you're not going to get an outside counsel or a special counsel, you still have to investigate it because here's the reason. Because the taxpayers pay for ICE to do what they do, pay for law enforcement through taxes. And part of paying those taxes is to have some accountability and know what they did.
Right.
Know what the F they did that day.
Mm-hmm.
But they said there was nothing to see. They said no
claim-
investigation. We can't
Yeah.
see a reason to
If
investigate.
they claim there's nothing to see, that means they've examined some facts from their point of view, even if it's a video, whatever. Then explain your logic. Yes, we've got the 3 bullets, and they were made of rubber. She died of a heart attack or whatever. Explain your logic.
Right. Why did you stand in front of the car? Why did you draw your weapon? Why did you? That's all part of the investigation.
Of course, but I mean, it's absurd anyway. If we have to give an educated opinion, why the hell did the guy have to shoot her 3 times? Doesn't one bullet in the face deter you? You tell me, Leonard.
Well, it looks
feel that
like if you look at the pictures, it looks like the first round went in the lower right corner of the front windshield. Which, if the first round did go into the windshield in the lower right, it probably hit the female in the arm or maybe the armrest or missed completely. So if you do an investigation and you start accounting for each round, if the first round missed and she was already past him, were the second and third round necessary? That's the question.
I mean, it's a question, but it's an unanswered question. This is the thing, and everybody should be repeating this 1,000 times a day. Do an investigation, get an independent body to do the investigation, to look at the forensics, to look at the pathologist report, to look at the bullets, to look at the car, to the whole damn thing. And then we'll be happy. Everybody can be happy. If the guy's innocent, he'll be shown to be innocent.
But you have to do an investigation. That's the only way.
You have to do the investigation, and that's what matters. Why aren't we doing an investigation? We all know the answer. It's the same reason they're not releasing the Epstein files. It's the same reason that they didn't show the second tap video. It's the same reason they're not showing the video of Holman getting the $50,000. Same
Right.
reason.
Well, hopefully, if the Democrats get back into power, we'll see all of that one day. That's what I hope.
I really hope so. But my only concern, looking at Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, is they may do the old Gerald Ford thing, and I hope part of their manifesto is they're going to pursue all the Trump criminals from ICE upwards.
Yeah, we need new leadership here, Paul. Those guys are played out. Schumer's played out. Hakeem Jeffries is played out. We need some new, young, energy leadership.
I agree.
Great call, though, Paul. Always a good call with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
guys.
Appreciate the phone call. Thank you, Paul. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Mary. Mary is next up on PTL. Hey, Mary, what's going on?
Oh, hi. The thing I wanted to say was that Representative Seth Moulton.
Yep.
He's a congressman that
I know Seth very well. I've met him in person. He's done my show in studio before. He's been on this show, and Seth is a hero, a former veteran.
Yeah.
Yep. Go right ahead.
He's a great guy. He's submitting the Reinvestment Act. It's to redirect ICE funding to like healthcare and other things. And basically, he's trying to return ICE funding to what it was before the big buggery bill. It used to be ICE funding used to be like 10 million, and now it's like in the billions, which is why you can see so many ICE people in. They can flood the streets with ICE. They can like just keep putting thousands and thousands and thousands of ICE officers everywhere. If they didn't have the funding, they couldn't do that.
And that's what is so troubling is that the more this goes on and gets worse, the more ICE officers that are going to be out there. Funny how they're not sending these ICE officers to like Texas, right, where the amount of undocumented immigrants are like tenfold. But it's interesting, right? They won't send those officers there. I find that very interesting.
Right, they're going to put it where they can control, and scare people from showing up at voting polls. That people are afraid to leave their houses, afraid to send their kids to school. People are going to not show up to vote, and that's what they're trying to do. And by trying to take away the funding, at least you have a chance. So people should try to call their representatives, even if their representatives are Republicans. Some of these Republicans aren't going to run again, and maybe they will support this act.
That's a good idea,
so
Mary.
Try to call them.
Tell everybody to call the representatives, email them. Stay on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing. We all
smart,
have
Mary.
to stay on it. I appreciate your phone call. Let's go to the YouTube super chat. Leonard, go ahead. Tell us what we
Laurie
got.
says people from here or abroad are refunded their FIFA tickets because of what's going on here. Reason is they're afraid of being arrested or boycotting. And that's true, but they're also afraid of getting arrested and getting their visas revoked. And once they come to America, they don't know what's going to happen next. And so Trump is trying to be the president of peace, but all he's doing is wreaking havoc in the world. And now he's picking on soccer, but they did give him an award for some kind of peace award or something like that.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens tomorrow with Machado. I think we have another YouTube super chat in there if you want to read it.
Let's see.
Should be on the screen for you. Yeah.
ISIS started spreading outside of the downtown Twin Cities area and invading the suburbs. Please stay safe, everyone. I'm terrified and exhausted of Kristi Noem's so-called help.
Yeah.
And that's from Hannah, Montana. And, you're 100% right. Kristi Noem, they're going to have a special place for her when she goes, because that is one.
I completely agree. Yeah.
I don't like to use the word evil, but
I could use some other. I could use some other words too. Let's go to Nancy, 702-221-7283. Hello, Nancy.
Hi, Brian. I just had a question, and I'm probably late with all the news, but I was notified about a video yesterday, and I wanted to know if you knew anything about the Sasha Riley video and why they haven't done anything about it. It's with the Epstein files. He was a
we're not really
victim.
So we're going to be doing a little bit more with Epstein coming up here next segment, okay? And then we'll dive in. Yeah, no problem. We're going to dive into all that stuff in a little bit. We're kind of still on par talking about ICE, but we will get to Epstein here next segment. I promise you, my dear. So sit tight, okay? 702-221-7283. 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Andy. Andy's next up on PTL. Hello, Andy.
Yeah. There I am.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yes, Brian and Leonard, how you guys doing? I'll
Hi,
make
Andy.
this quick because I know you guys want some MAGA guys calling.
Well, they're
But
cowards.
listen,
They're cowards. They won't.
Yeah,
I don't know what
yeah,
they're
of course,
afraid of.
but-
I'll be nice.
Oh, I'm sure you will. But this is what we're like old washmaids, man. We got to start doing something, because I bet you when Trump first came in 2016, we never would have thought, in 2026, that he'd be here doing half the things that he's done, and we've just, when Trump does this, that's it. He's going to lose all his support. Oh, when he does this, he's going to lose all. We should boycott. If I find out that somebody voted for Trump, I'm not working for them. I'm a plumber. If I see a Trump flag, I drive right by. I'm not going in their house. We should hit them where it hurts.
Well, I think that's happening in
Don't-
families and friends right
I want to
now.
know who they voted for. They should be accountable for throwing this country in the shit. In the toilet. You know?
A lot of families are breaking apart, and a lot of friends. I have friends who are MAGAs who I talk to on the phone, and I can only talk for so long because they just live in another. They live on another planet. They just live in another world.
Yeah, we should. I think we got to get something together where we can really, put the smack down.
Got to vote.
Well, there's nothing illegal.
Yeah,
There's-
vote. If we get to vote,
There's nothing.
He may
There's
stop the
nothing.
vote.
There's nothing illegal about what you are talking about. You have the right, if you're a plumber or your private business or whatever
Yeah.
you are, you have the right to refuse service to anybody you like. And guess what? I don't have a problem with what you're saying. There's a lot of MAGA buffoons out there that don't want to serve people and don't want to be associated with people that
Right.
are Kamala Harris supporters. So you know what? I don't see anything wrong with what you're saying, my friend, and I do appreciate your call. Thank you so much. 702-221-SAVE, 702-221-7283. Let's go to Johnny. Johnny is next on PTL. Hello, Johnny.
I'm a MAG, and I'd like to talk to Leonard, please.
Hi, Johnny.
So, you said you were going to be nice, correct?
I'm going to be very nice. I'm always polite.
Okay. Fantastic. And you are a former police cop or officer, correct?
Yes, I did 25 years. I'm a retired lieutenant.
Okay, so you are a man of the law,
Yes,
correct?
correct.
So, if someone's here illegally, how are you against that?
Okay, so
You should be for ICE coming in and taking care of this.
Oh, you just asked a question. You just asked a question.
Well,
Shut up and let him
well,
answer.
hold on a second, Johnny, because first we have to understand that 70% of America agrees that if you're here illegally, you need to find a path to citizenship or you shouldn't be here. So everyone agrees, almost everyone agrees, that if you're here illegally, what we have an issue with is approaching people and denying them their due process, denying them their civil rights. I'm telling you right now, you cannot walk up to people, you cannot throw them on the ground and disappear them in a white van, and the family calls and you don't know who they are or who took them or which agency. And are they getting away with it? Yes, they're getting away with it right now, Johnny. I would agree with that.
now I have a question for him.
But I think eventually they're going to be held accountable
Johnny-
for their conduct.
Johnny, are you okay with what happened to Miss Good? No. Now, hey, Johnny,
I only
be
said
quiet.
be nice.
Hey, Johnny, don't go, okay? I'm asking you a question now. He just answered your question. Now it's my turn, okay, MAGA? Are you okay with what happened to Miss Good? Yes or no?
I don't have an issue with it.
You don't have an issue. Okay. Do you? Okay, let's go step by step. Let's go step by step. I'm not talking to Leonard. I'm talking to you, you dope, so pay attention. Do you have a problem with an ICE officer holding up a cell phone, circling around a vehicle? Yes or no?
I have a problem with somebody not.
You don't answer a question. You don't answer a question. Hey, you don't answer. Hey, dope, stop asking Leonard for help, you dope, and answer the question. You don't answer a question with a question, you MAGA turd. Answer my question.
Yeah, I only said I would.
Do
be
you
nice.
have a problem with an officer holding a cell phone with one hand while he circles your vehicle to the back and the front? Is that proper protocol, or do you have a problem with that? Yes or no?
I only have a problem with somebody not listening to the police.
I didn't ask you that. You won't answer my question. Hey, idiot. Hey, okay, Johnny, let's pod Johnny down for a moment. Johnny, here's the
That
way
makes
this
no
works.
sense what he said.
Johnny, here's the way this works. I ask you a question. You answer the question. You don't answer another question. The question had nothing to do with Miss Good. I asked you the first time, do you have feel like there was anything wrong with what happened to Miss Good? And you said no. Okay, I'm moving on now. Pay attention. Get the MAGA wax out of your ears. You're telling me that on a normal traffic stop, or any traffic stop for that matter, you see no problem with an officer not only taking out his cell phone and recording you, but circling around a vehicle. You're telling me that's proper training?
Well, he didn't answer the question. He
Well,
pivoted.
that's what
and
I'm
said,
asking
I have
him right
I have
now.
a problem with somebody not complying.
Yeah, so don't talk to me about non-compliance, because I'm sure you were defending the January 6th insurrectionists. Did Ashley Babbitt comply, yes or no? Since you want to talk about compliance, you doofus. Did Ashley Babbitt comply?
No, I'm talking about this.
I'm asking, no. I don't care what you're talking about. Hey, Johnny.
You should be happy with what
Johnny, you just said compliance. Did Ashley Babbitt comply? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I
Pod
just know
this
about
idiot.
this case.
Pod this idiot down. Can somebody
He
please?
doesn't know what.
Can somebody please pod this moron down? Okay.
They broke the window and she climbed
Ashley
through after
Babbitt,
being told not to. That's non-compliance.
Ashley Babbitt didn't comply, and Donald Trump's administration awarded the family $5 million. The reason why you don't know is because you're an imbecile. That's why. So let me ask you another question, Mr. Johnny MAGA. Why don't you listen and stop talking, you bozo? Why don't you stop talking? Are you okay with an officer? No, you're not right. You're wrong. I believe you're far right, and I believe you're a radical nut job. Okay? Do you have a problem after an officer-involved shooting, which clearly took place here, an officer not only not providing life-saving care, not even checking the pulse of the individual, letting her bleed out, 30 seconds later leaving the scene with the weapon that was used? Are you okay with that, Johnny?
Does she put herself into that
Didn't ask you if she didn't ask you your pot him down again. Notice how this
Johnny, why don't you just have a conversation, brother? Just have have a conversation. You keep pivoting to what Good did.
Let me try to do it my way again here, because the nice way doesn't seem to be working. But hey, crap for brains. Pay attention, okay? The question wasn't about Miss. Hey, moron. The question wasn't about Miss Good. The question was about the officer after the shooting.
Yeah, the agents.
Specifically, the officer who pulled the trigger. I'll ask you one more time, and the question has nothing to do with Miss Good. Are you okay with this ICE officer not providing life-saving care seconds after the shooting, going to the vehicle, not even checking her pulse, by the way, which he's supposed to do and trained to do, and then 30 seconds later, leaving the scene of an officer-involved shooting with the weapon? Focus, Johnny. I know you can do it. Focus. Are you
going to pod me down if I answer?
If you answer, I promise I will not pod you down.
I don't know what the proper procedure is. I just know.
So you're telling me, okay, hold on.
Then how can you disagree with it if you don't?
You're telling me, hold on a second.
How could you have an opinion?
Hold on, no, don't ask Leonard for help. Please pod him down again. So here's what we figured out here with this caller. You're telling me, caller, Johnny Magadoofus, that's what we'll call you today, that right after an officer-involved shooting, where the person who was shot could have already lost their life, they're not moving, they're not a threat, you're telling me you don't know if officers should be providing any life-saving care. Is that what you don't know?
Just common sense.
You don't know.
I'm telling you right now, we're off the subject.
No, we're not off the subject. You don't know.
Well, the subject was the conduct of the agent, not the conduct
Well, guess what?
Renee Good.
No. You're talking to Brian, and I'm not going to be nice to you because you're a typical MAGA buffoon. You're telling me that I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you again. Johnny, stop talking. Johnny, no, you're not. Johnny, stop talking for a moment. I'm going to ask you now for a fourth time. You mean to tell me, under any circumstance, right after an officer-involved shooting, where the person, in this case a victim, is not moving and not breathing, you don't know if those officers should be checking a pulse or maybe providing CPR? You don't know whether they should be doing that or not? Is that your answer that I have it? Is that correct?
I don't know what answer you're trying to look for. I'm trying to talk about...
Get lost.
We have a duty to provide. And by the way, Brian, when the detectives arrive, you rope off the scene. No one's allowed to leave. They take your gun. They do a countdown on how many rounds were fired. And then they interview you. Nobody gets that was like a movie. They get in the car and go home.
So obviously that person on the phone was very ill-informed and not very intelligent. But for anybody out there, again, the cowards who don't call into the show that are saying, she already lost her life. First of all, that's not your judgment or their judgment. They still have to, at least at a minimum, check her pulse and provide life-saving care if she doesn't have a pulse. And yes, obviously, if somebody is decapitated, that is a different circumstance. That wasn't the case here.
Let me just say one thing real quick, because he has an opinion, but he says he doesn't know what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
He says he doesn't know what they're supposed to do or not do.
Let me respond to that.
How can you have an opinion when you admitted to everyone that you don't know what right and wrong was?
Let me respond to what wrong is. People like Johnny, who just called in, who are so stupid, they can't even answer a basic question about life-saving care with law enforcement, yet he has an opinion on whether this woman didn't comply and she deserved what she got. Johnny, you're a complete imbecile, and I really seriously hope in my heart that you get deported to Gaza.
Yeah, and you said, was that right or wrong? He goes, I don't know. Yeah, well, then how can you have an opinion?
No, because he's an imbecile, that's why. 702-221-7283. Uncle Fatty, that's a very interesting name.
That's cool.
Uncle Fatty is next. Hello, Uncle Fatty.
Let me rearrange my brain cells a second here, fellas. Okay, we're good.
What's going on, man?
You know, you mentioned something really good there, Brian, about the refusal of service. This whole doxing thing, you know, there's a reason why we dox folks like this. It's not for the talking point that MAGA would put out there. It's because we have the right to refuse service, right? It's the only thing that we really do have. Mm-hmm. Is being able to identify the racists, the bigots in our community, and hold them accountable and say, look, you know, as business owners, we refuse the right to serve a dickhead like you.
Well, I will say this, since we are talking about some very serious topics, the only person that I'm aware of in Trump's orbit that has refused service to him would be Melania Trump ever since Barron was born. That would be the person that has refused service to Donald Trump.
Does she have the right to refuse service?
I digress, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There may be a contract there. You don't know.
That's true.
I'm sure there is.
That's
I'm
true.
sure there's a very long one.
Probably. Well, mushroom. But anyway, go ahead.
Mushroom contract.
But yeah, with this doxing thing that's came out, this another big talking point that's been put out here the past couple of days, that this big document drop and the inside information and whatever. And
Don't you think that the Division of Homeland Security is out of line by doxing a person within minutes or an hour or two of them being killed? Don't you think that's wrong?
And that's quite the propaganda spin right there to be putting on things within the first hour of the incident.
A domestic terrorist. When
Timothy McVeigh was a domestic terrorist. Okay,
her body.
That's the comparison.
Her body wasn't even cold yet, and Kristi Noem called her a domestic terrorist. Caroline Leavitt the other day, using some really horrible terminology to describe her character. This is
the Unabomber, the bomber at the Boston Marathon. Those are domestic terrorists.
Yeah, it's
well, and they're throwing around insurrection like it's just like it's penny candy these days.
Yeah, January 6th was an insurrection. The protests going on in Minneapolis. This is not an insurrection. I appreciate the call, sir.
And
thank you very much.
He was impeached for it, so it was real.
Yeah, no doubt. We got to get to some other callers. I appreciate your call, sir. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Joe. Joe is next up on PTL. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Yeah, I wanted to make some talk about what the shooting in Minneapolis.
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay.
Lower your radio, please, because it's going to confuse you, and we have a little bit of a delay, if that's okay, Joe, please.
All right, I got it. Okay, no problem.
Okay, yep. So tell me, what are your thoughts on the shooting?
Okay, I have two questions.
Yep.
Maybe I'm missing something. The fact that you see these ICE agents damaging property, assaulting people, kidnapping people, but I never see no police officers around to arrest them, and they're breaking state law. Why is that? And my second question was, any chance of prosecuting in Minneapolis, the district attorney, bringing charges against that murderer?
Yeah, see, I'll let Leonard answer, but my understanding, it's very difficult to do so. What are your thoughts?
Well, a couple. The second question is a little bit in the weeds, but the first question, why police don't intercede. First of all, most of the time they're not there. ICE just sneaks up on people and starts grabbing them. But second of all, police officers take orders. So if they go to a briefing and the sergeant and the lieutenant, and it comes down from the captain and the chief and the sheriff to say, don't get involved with ICE, which is my guess. I don't know. I don't have any facts. My guess is they're telling the police to stay out of it because they're law enforcement. They're part of DHS. And so they're probably told to stay out of it. But on your second question, it really ties into civil rights and oppression under the color of office. And if they can prove that Jonathan Ross violated her civil rights, then the scope of within he was doing while he violated her rights, that means that he was on his own, right? He wasn't acting on behalf of the ICE agent or the DHS. Now he can be prosecuted as a person who committed a violent crime. But right now, when you have the president saying that you have absolute immunity and the vice president saying you have, national immunity, it's really going to be hard to prosecute anyone.
Yeah.
So maybe down the line.
Yep.
I know, and it's real complicated, but that's my short version.
Yep. There you go. So you got anything else for us?
No, that's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
You bet. 702-221-SAVE. We had one very brave MAGA individual who called into this show and made himself look like an ass. And I was nice. Well, I wasn't, because he's a complete imbecile, but he made himself look like the ass that he is. All right, 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Al. Al is next up on PTL. Hello, Al.
Hey, Brian, can you hear me okay? I was
Yes,
just...
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, listen, so I have a question for the officer primarily and for both of you. What do you think the appropriate response should have been by the driver in that situation? You got a nice guy, tells you to get out of the car. What is the appropriate response?
Okay, I was hoping that you would ask me what would be the appropriate response for the person that's still alive and not the person that is no longer alive. But I'll still answer your question, but I'll also leave a caveat to it, okay, Al? So, yes, in a perfect world, I'm sure this woman didn't think that she was going to be shot. I wish she got out of the vehicle. I would imagine that she was scared, and she reacted, and we're all human beings, and we are all not perfect. In a perfect world, I wish that she got out of the car. But guess what? She didn't. She's not a professional. There were supposed to be alleged professionals around her. The individual that said, "Get the F out of the car," is the opposite of a de-escalation technique. You're supposed to go as far as to say, "Hello, my name is Officer Cardinal. I'm with the blah, blah, blah ICE. Ma'am, here's what we're going to need you to do. Please cooperate with us because we don't want to escalate this and we don't want to arrest you." That didn't happen.
That's the answer, Al.
So the real question, Al, that you should be asking yourself, which I don't think you are if you listen to right-wing radio with respect, is why did the officer...
Well, I listen to left. I'm listening to you.
Okay, so let's go through this one by one, Al. I appreciate that. And Leonard, here, stay with me here, Leonard, because this is really important. So, Al, where does it say proper protocol when an officer is supposed to take out his cell phone and circle around a vehicle? Is that proper training?
No, listen.
Okay, let's go one by one.
Can we digress though a little bit? Can we go back to the officer going up and pulling on the door?
Well, I was going to get to that.
That's what prompted her to agree with you that is incorrect.
Hold on.
Okay.
So hold on. So hold on. Okay, let's skip through it. Al, let's skip through it. Okay. Al, you would agree with me that there were about 5 or 6 things that these officers did that were not proper training. Would you agree with that? About 5 or 6 things?
I'm not a professional law enforcement officer.
You don't have to be a professional. Okay, so hold on.
I would agree that there were several things. I can't identify them exactly.
Quickly, and then we'll move on to your question a little bit more. Let's quickly go through it. You already agreed that trying to open up her door and saying "get the F out" is not de-escalation. You already agreed with us. Circling around the vehicle and taking out your cell phone, that's 3 things. Number 4, not getting in front of the vehicle, trying to get out of the way, which clearly he didn't do. Number 5, after the shooting, he didn't provide life-saving care. In fact, he went over to the car. He didn't even check her pulse. Number 6, he casually walks back to his unmarked vehicle. You're not supposed to leave the scene of a crime after an officer-involved shooting. He gets into his unmarked vehicle, drives away, doesn't even call 911, and leaves the scene. Those are 5 or 6 things that I just mentioned. So the real
instead of protocol, can we call it tactics?
Yeah,
because that's really did he use correct tactics? Correct training.
Of course he didn't.
Because it's not tactical
I don't think
to
he
step
did.
in front of a vehicle. But let me just say, Al, before you ask your next question, Brian hit it on the head.
I wanted to ask you that question.
Well, I'm trying to answer. Why would you go up to any vehicle and pull on the door and say, "Get the F out"? Okay, because there's a reason why we go. Let me finish. There's a reason why we go to the police academy. There's a reason why we go through field training. They teach you to approach from the rear of the vehicle, to tell them who you are. "Hi, I'm Officer Shapiro. I need you to turn the car off. I need you to put the car in park. I need you to calm down, man. Oh, I'm calm. I'm not mad at you. Okay, I need you to put the car in park and turn it off, and I need to see your license, registration, and insurance. I'm stopping you because you're impeding traffic."
Yeah.
The reason we're taught to do that is so that these things do not escalate.
Okay, so Al, we
I
both
totally hear you
Al,
on
Al.
that, but so this is my point. Go ahead.
Al, so we
I'm
both
listening, but it's your show. Go ahead.
Okay, so Al, we both answered your question. Now let me just ask you a few questions, if that's okay. Because if you voted for Donald Trump, which I assume you did, are you okay with members of his administration, including Donald Trump, saying she tried to run him over and he almost lost his life, and Kristi Noem calling her a domestic terrorist? Are you okay with that?
Well, the thing is that I think that there was incorrect behavior on both parts. You shouldn't be following an officer around.
There's no.
And I want to make
there's
one
no
point.
evidence.
Point,
Hold
Brian,
on.
I listen to you guys.
Okay, but
let me make one quick point.
I promise you, Al, I will allow you to make that point. But let me just respond quickly to what you just said.
Okay.
Where is your evidence that you would conclude that she was, quote, following them around? Where did you get that information from?
Some of the stuff that was on the internet.
Yeah,
some of the stuff that was on.
What is she doing there?
So hold on,
What
Al,
is she doing
Al,
in the first place?
Al, some of the stuff on the internet says the Earth is flat, and Donald Trump won the 2020 election.
Come on, you're
Al,
and the sky's not
Al,
I know what
Al,
some people in the internet.
I don't
have said
care,
that.
Al.
Okay,
Al,
if you want to
Al,
be more specific.
Stop, Al. I don't care what, quote, some people say on the internet. What I care about is facts and factual information. So, Al, let's retract for a moment. There is no credible evidence to suggest that she was following them in her car. What we do know is that, and this has been confirmed by the school, 30 minutes before this shooting, she dropped off her 6-year-old son at school. So what you're saying is not factually accurate.
Okay.
So now that we've established that, please don't use. Okay.
Now can I make my point?
Yes.
Can I make my point?
Yeah. My point is, don't say things and believe things because, quote, you see somebody
That's
say
fine.
something
Okay.
on the internet. Go ahead.
Okay, it was hearsay. I only have hearsay. Okay, that's fine. That's hearsay, and it's not admissible in court. I get that. Okay, this is my point that I wanted to make. I don't believe that these guys that are ICE are properly trained, and my message is that I'm a big, strong supporter of Metro here in Las Vegas. I think we have the best sheriff department in the country. You know what? Our sheriffs here, and hopefully in your state, the law enforcement officers are not trained that way.
Can I out?
And
Al,
it is unfortunate.
let me respond to that.
It is unfortunate that escalated
Al,
to the point. But I do agree that
Al,
those
I
ICE
agree.
agents
saying
are way
that the
off.
agent
That's
escalated.
what I wanted to say.
Okay, so Al, I agree with you. They're not properly trained. Al, who would you blame for that? Who was the guy that said he wanted to give them 47 hours of training? I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
Listen,
It's somebody that you voted for.
I'll tell you. I'll give you the answer before you give me the hint.
Go ahead. Yeah. Well, Al.
It's Donald Trump.
Okay, so
Donald
Al.
You voted on Al
no.
voted for him because you didn't know any
and
better.
no.
I know that's what you're going to say. You voted for Trump because you didn't know better.
No, I didn't say that. I voted for
You don't
Trump
have to.
because I thought he was going to keep his promises, and this is not. He's
All
not
right, hold
keeping
on.
his promises.
That's what I just said.
Okay, but hold on. Al, let's go to that point, okay? Back in 2016, he ran on two things. He ran on these two things at every single rally. He said he was going to lock up Hillary Clinton and hire a special prosecutor. That didn't happen. He said he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. That didn't happen. So what made you believe this go around?
I think Mexico did pay for it directly.
No, they didn't.
No,
No,
they
they
didn't.
didn't.
Come
No,
on,
they didn't.
man.
Al, you might have read that.
That's crazy.
I think Al read that on the internet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody
Al.
said
Yeah,
that-
okay.
Al,
All right. You know,
Al,
I
that's
love
not
it.
true.
That's why I love your show. I love your sense of humor and your comedic talent. Go
Okay,
ahead.
well, I appreciate that, but I don't think there's
And
any funny.
nobody's trying to be funny.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything funny about an
Okay.
innocent 37-year-old
Okay.
woman that lost her life. And guess what? Ashley Babbitt and this woman, Miss Good, would still be alive today if you guys didn't put him in office to begin with. I want you to think
Okay,
about that,
that's
Al.
fine.
No.
All I can
Am I
tell you is
wrong?
this.
Al, hang on a second.
Okay.
Would Ashley Babbitt and Miss Good be alive today if Donald Trump never got into public office? Yes or no?
Yes.
Maybe not.
What do you mean, maybe? Wait, hold on. You're
Okay.
telling me if Donald Trump never got into office, we still would have had a January 6th insurrection?
listen, Brian,
no, why
we're
won't you
way
answer
off
a
the point.
question? No, we're on the
Because
point.
we're way off the
No,
point.
we're way on the point. You
point that
voted
I
for Donald Trump. You
The
should.
point that I call on making,
Please.
Brian.
All right, yeah.
The
All right,
point,
calm
the
him
point
down.
that I'm trying to
Al,
He voted for Trump
Al,
because he thought
I'm
he
going to
believed him.
ask you one more time, and I want you to answer the question and don't be a coward, okay? Then I'll have a little bit of respect for you, okay? If Donald Trump is never elected into public office, are Ashley Babbitt and Miss Good still alive today? Yes or no?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they would have got
He
hit by a
thinks
car.
Ashley
I
Babbitt
don't
would have
know.
died anyway, or Renee
Maybe
Good
she
would have
would've
died
died.
anyway.
Al,
That makes no sense.
Al, I appreciate the call. Al, I appreciate the call. I lost any bit of respect that I had for you. The answer is they would still be alive today. Ashley Babbitt would not have stormed the Capitol. She was radicalized
The
by Donald
insurrection would
Trump.
have never happened.
She was radicalized by Donald Trump and idiots on the internet, maybe even people like you. And Miss Good would still be alive today because, you see, back in the day when Barack Obama was president, millions of people were deported. But you didn't have agents that weren't identifying themselves with scarves over their face, going door to door like they're doing now.
And
so
violating
Al,
people's rights.
The fact you can't even answer that question shows you have zero backbone. Let's get back to the call. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Brian. Brian is next up on PTL. Hey, Brian, what's up?
What's going on?
Hey, what's up? Please lower your radio, Brian, because we got a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, I
that's fine.
Catching on to that.
No problem. Go right ahead.
I was just catching up with your conversation with Al.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the thought was that Ashley Good or her partner were not following around. I think is that the token thought?
Well, it's not really a thought. They haven't provided any video surveillance evidence or any evidence that they were following ICE around. And what we do know is that she dropped off her son 30 minutes prior. The school has already confirmed that. That's what we know for sure.
I think she drove up on the situation. I don't think she was looking for it.
And by the way, I will add something. Even if you are following an ICE agent, that's not necessarily against the law either. I want to be very clear.
Not a good idea.
Yeah.
But not illegal.
Right. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, so to impede an ongoing operation by federal agents and to say that there's no documentation or there's no proof, well, that's because they're not surveying citizens and these people that they are quote unquote assassinating, these people that are quote unquote kidnapping. Who and or what are they? Are they not illegal immigrants that have, as they said, they're going after the worst first?
Okay, so Ashley Good.
Well, they weren't going after her.
Hold on. Hold on a second, Miss Good. Well, let's focus on what we were talking about, which was Miss Good for a moment, because you had asked a question to start this conversation about was she following these people. First of all, Miss Good is a legal citizen. Was a legal citizen. Sadly.
Correct.
And number two, it's not illegal to, and there's no evidence to prove that she was impeding an investigation because a lot of people.
There absolutely was.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish.
Well, she was waving cars by.
I will tell you why that's not correct.
She was in the middle of the road.
Hold on.
And she was laying on the horn.
Hold on.
Because okay, go ahead.
Brian,
I'm gonna jump all over that.
Okay, well, you can jump over everything you like, just like these ICE officers are jumping over citizens. But I'll still answer your question by saying this, and Leonard is correct. In the last few minutes of her life, and by the way, she was in the middle of that road for about 3 minutes or so based on the video, all videos, okay, 3 minutes. Cars were also able to drive by. In fact, in the last moments of her life, she was waving cars by. Now, if she was blocking an entire road and nobody could get through, I would agree with you.
That's different.
But here's the thing, Brian, that I think you are missing in this entire conversation with respect. We need an independent investigation because an independent investigation, which both parties would agree to, which they're not going to because the Trump administration doesn't want that to happen because they have something to hide. If there's an independent investigation, then forget about opinion. We would get all those answers. I can only go by what I see in the video. So tell me why the Trump administration and Kristi Noem not only don't want to work with local law enforcement and give them the access to the investigation that they have, but they also don't want an independent investigation. Why is that, Brian?
Well, I mean, have you foreseen or had purview into any biased or operation?
I
stepped off for you.
Whoa. I said independent.
Right. Whoa.
You know what independent means? Do you know that
you
term?
said local law enforcement.
Okay, so let me rephrase
He didn't
the
say
question.
local. He said independent, like a special counsel.
Okay, so let me speak slowly for you now, okay? Independent investigation. I'll repeat it. Independent.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's third party
Why
non-biased.
and
Good luck with
why
that.
and what? No, hold on. Why is it that the Trump administration do not want an independent investigation? That was my question. Go ahead, sir.
Because what they have is conclusive. Because
what?
Ashley Good is a part of this. What do they call it? It's a.
You're talking about people that warn people in the neighborhood about ICE, because that's not illegal. Parking your vehicle and blowing the horn is not. It's a misdemeanor.
The whole pamphlet.
Sir,
there's illegal. Sir.
Okay,
There's
pot him down.
illegal
You're not gonna be rude to me, you dope. Okay, that's my job for idiots like you.
He thinks what she was
hold
doing
on.
was illegal.
I'm gonna ask you again. Even if what you're saying is true, it doesn't change my question. You're not answering it. Even if what you're saying is true, why shouldn't there be an independent investigation? Answer.
Because the evidence they have is conclusive.
How do you
There's
know
no
that?
investigation. How can it be conclusive?
Hey, dope. There is no investigation. They didn't investigate anything. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Can I say something, Brian? Brian,
guy is such a clown.
They have to look at the body. They have to look at where the bullets entered. They have to look at the probable cause. They have to look at the intent of the officer, the intent of the driver, the intent of the other officers. That's all done in investigation. You can't watch a video and be like, she was in the wrong because Trump said so and Kristi Noem said so. That's not an investigation.
That's not what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
How the hell do you know what happened?
And matter
Who
of
the hell
fact, the
are you?
DOJ said there wasn't enough to investigate it. And what Brian is saying, why don't they just appoint a special counsel? They can have the Dems and the Republicans pick together an impartial person and do an independent special counsel investigation.
Yeah, see, sir.
You know what? And I like that. I like that, to be perfectly honest with you.
You like it. Well, guess who doesn't like it? You just
how
said
many-
you don't like it. You were just running your. Sir, who won the? Hey, sir, let me ask you, because you sound like a very logical person. Who won the 2020 election, free and fair? What's the matter? Cat got your tongue, sir? Who won a free 2020 election? Answer the question, you
Free
dope.
and fair?
Yeah,
Free and fair?
Did I stutter? Did I stutter? You doofus. Who won the?
No, but you sound like you're
Answer
talking
the
like
question.
that.
Answer. Okay, so here we go again. See, he doesn't want to answer the question. I'll ask it one more time, doofus. Who won a free and fair election in 2020? Mr. Logical, Mr. Logic. Answer
Nobody.
the question.
Nobody won it.
Exactly, because you're an idiot. That's why. Get off my show. You see, how do you put any credibility to a moron who can't even answer who won the 2020 election? But this jackass without a brain is trying to lecture us about what happened in this shooting. And yet, with no evidence of widespread voter fraud, this imbecile, because that's what he is, he's an imbecile.
Well, he said
can't
it was
even answer a
conclusion.
very basic question on who won the 2020 election. But yet, he comes to the conclusion he can't answer that question, but yet he knows what happened in the shooting. Sir, you are what America is wrong on. You're the worst of what America has. Let's go to Nelson. Nelson is next. We got to get through these calls quick. Nelson, what's up?
Let's go.
Nelson, go right
Rapid
ahead.
fire.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Go quickly, Nelson, because we got to get to a lot of calls. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess we should discuss the ICE shooting and what happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sorry.
Yeah. What's your opinion?
Well, I mean, I've seen the video a bunch of times, and I saw various videos from like conservative podcasters and YouTube channels, and also liberal. And even though I generally lean conservative, I think I'm gonna grant you this one. I think this qualifies as murder, in my opinion.
Nelson, let me ask you a question. Does a video on the internet or on the news or on TV, does that qualify for an investigation, or is it just me? Looking at a video, can you tell?
I'm sorry.
If you just look at a video, is that an investigation? Does that equal? Because the last caller said that equals a conclusive
Yeah,
investigation.
well, the last caller also can't answer who won the 2020 election, so
Yeah.
he thinks the Earth is flat. So he's an absolute.
Yeah, it was all, what he said was all subjective. None of it objective.
Well, this caller obviously agrees with us, and I appreciate that. The fact you're a conservative and you're willing to admit to logic of what we saw, and I do appreciate that, sir. I'm sorry we're running out of time here, so I want to get to as many calls as possible. Sylvia, you're next. Go right ahead.
Hi, my question is, why wouldn't they let the physician go to the truck after they shot her? It was
They're not
bad
supposed to
enough
do
the
that.
officer walked away.
They're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to allow medical to come in and either pronounce the person dead or check on them or see if any. And a matter of fact, he said, I don't care. The doctor said, I need to go check her pulse. He said, I don't care. And we're supposed to try to provide aid. It's part of what we agree to. It's part of what we swear to. And I think that officer someday may be charged for that, but I'm not sure.
Thank you for the call, my dear. Let's go to Donna. Donna, you're next up on PTL. Go right ahead.
Hi, Brian. I'm sitting here listening to Al. This all goes back to when Donald Trump was debating Hillary Clinton. When he started following her around on that stage, all I could think of was he's nothing but a big bully.
A misogynist, correct?
Yes. And then I started thinking, I put myself in Miss Good's position. She's letting cars go by. Then that officer is filming her, and she's telling him, I'm not mad at you. So she's watching this officer go by. Meanwhile, the truck that stopped him, the agent that got out, he could have went right around to her. But he was the one that chose to stop.
It's so insane, my dear. I'm sorry to cut you short. I'm up against the clock
Thanks
here.
for the call, Donna.
Listen,
It was
you're
a good call.
100% correct. The fact that they're claiming that he had internal bleeding and he almost lost his life and he was run over, yet the guy was magically still able to hold on to his cell phone, walk casually back to his car, and leave 30 seconds later. Boy, it really is magical. Let's go to Yvonne. I've got about 30 seconds for Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne. Ron. Listen, Renee Good should not be dead. Keith Porter should not be dead.
Mm-hmm.
The 43 people in ICE detention should not be dead. Donald Trump will never get all the blood off his hands.
Well, it's up to you to vote, to go out there, Yvonne, and vote. Make sure all your friends vote.
And even he said that smart people don't vote for him.
He did say that.
He likes
Yes, he did.
He likes the uneducated. He's a big fan of the
He
uneducated.
loves the uneducated. And I told him, I didn't finish high school. I educated myself. And a lot of people need to start going to the library or getting on the internet and educate themselves. People are dying because we have stupid people in this country.
I agree, and I appreciate your call, my dear. Quickly, I
that
got to go
went
to
by
Ryan
quick.
real quick. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, ICE agent also killed Keith Porter Jr.
Well, I'll say this, Ryan. This isn't the first time that this has happened, unfortunately.
I didn't hear what he said.
And it's not going to be the last time. There are other incidents where ICE agents have killed, in my opinion, innocent people, and that was his point. And Ryan, I agree with you.
It's going to continue.
This isn't the first time, and I hope I'm wrong on this, but I don't think I am. I don't think this is going to be the last time either.
Yeah, good show today. A lot of good callers, a couple of MAGAs, and I'm still hoping. I'm hoping that we get a MAGA someday who can make a reasonable point.
Yeah, we didn't really get that. But by the way, whenever you get into any conversation with any of these idiots, right? And that's what they are, by the way. And the reason why I asked them who won the 2020 election, because it's like asking, is the earth flat or is it round?
Or is water wet? And they go,
Right.
well,
and
Trump said maybe not.
And then he just uses an ad hominem, and then he doesn't answer the question. He's like, nobody won. You can't have a reasonable conversation with these idiots. They're very stupid people. They're ignorant. They're ill-informed. They're brainwashed. Use any word you want. But this is the guy that is going to preach to us. Listen, the guy's probably going to be late for his Klan rally tonight. Okay, sounds like a complete doofus. He probably loves all these.
I would
brown people being
recommend that he
attacked.
go look up some information on the internet, read some books, get educated, and call us back.
Yeah, I don't think reading books could help this guy. Maybe he needs hooked on phonics. I don't know, but
Kindle.
But, yeah, but it's very unfortunate. It's very sad that there are people in this country like some of those people that call into this show that defend this officer's actions. And the fact that there are idiots out there that believe that this guy was internally bleeding when he was grazed. His arm was grazed by the vehicle. He wasn't dropped down to the ground. And
Brian, I've been to hundreds, if not thousands, of accidents, car accidents where cars were crushed and the people weren't even hurt that bad. Right. You know, it's just to say you were brushed by a car, and
it's insane. So for people out there that want to support what we do, we ask that you do a couple things. My YouTube page is at PTL Radio Show. The Facebook fan page is Pushing the Limits. And yes, check out the website, pushingthelimits.live, where you can make donations monthly or a one-time donation. $5, $10, $20 a month. Listen, it's whatever you can afford. We greatly appreciate it. Go to pushingthelimits.live, where you can make a donation and support what we do. Leonard, important, very important that you're here, especially for these kinds of conversations. I really do.
Thanks for inviting me.
Appreciate you being here. And these are difficult times, right? These are tough times that we are living in right now. But we got to separate.
People need to hear it. They need to hear it. They appreciate hearing it. They appreciate what you're doing. Giving them the other side, like the guy said the other day, the caller said he feels insane until he calls here, and then he feels like, okay, well, somebody else is agreeing with me.
I'm glad you're here, Leonard, and I appreciate it. By the way, Don Lemon will be on the show
I'm
tomorrow.
a lemon head.
Yes, Don Lemon on the show tomorrow. The Jolly Ginger will be on the show Friday. I love his work. My thanks to the man, Robbie Roadsteamer, for joining us.
We love
today.
Robbie.
Thanks to Leonard for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.
And America's youth is stuck at the center of a tug-of-war between propaganda, billionaires, and political clowns who think TikTok is a national security threat, yet can't open their own email. But the real threat that keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote. And that's what the Unfuck America Tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future, our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit